I was lost, stuck in a job I hated. No direction, no passion. And honestly, I didn't know if life was ever gonna feel good again. It felt like every day was on repeat. Wake up, drag myself through work, go home, collapse, repeat. Here's the crazy part, the thing that pulled me out of it. The thing that gave me a reason to get excited about waking up again was a dirt bike. I know that sounds dramatic. I mean, how could a dirt bike possibly save someone's life? But it's the truth, and this is my story. I've always been an outdoors kid. My parents had me out in the wilderness before I could even crawl. Literally, at 6 months old, I was strapped in a car seat, bouncing along the trails with my dad and mom when we went 4x4ing. And that became my world. Trees, dirt, open sky is where I felt most alive. My dad would take me on long walks when I was little, sometimes kilometers at a time. I'd be waddling alongside him, the sounds of gravel crunching on our boots, birds calling in the distance. And as long as I had a full belly, I was content. And on my 4th birthday, I got my very first pedal bike. And man, that was it. The second those tiny training wheels hit the pavement, I was hooked. Balance, speed, the wind rushing against my face, it felt like superpowers. From that moment forward, 2 wheels weren't just a toy. They were a part of me. Throughout the rest of my younger years, pedal bikes were everything. Every jump, every skid mark, every scraped knee, it all fueled me. By the time I was 10, my dad got me my first machine. It was a little 125cc Geo. It was a 3-speed automatic Chinese quad. To most people, it was just a cheap little beater. To me, it was like a whole new world just opened up. That thing roared like a beast in my 10-year-old head. I'd rip around with the biggest grin, feeling unstoppable. It was fun. It was pure and simple, a kind of joy I hadn't felt before. Eventually, he even let me try his 400cc Suzuki Sports Quad, and I thought, yep, this is it. I'm a quad guy. Around the same time, my best friend Scott's dad bought him a Yamaha TTR 125 dirt bike. Suddenly, we were the crew. It was my dad, his dad, Scott on his dirt bike, and me on my quad. We'd ride trails, push each other, laugh when one of us got stuck. It was great times. Those are some of my fondest memories. Regularly, you'd find me riding at Scott's place, and one time we were out riding around in his backyard and he asked, "Hey Aaron, you want to try the bike?" At this point, I'd never ridden anything with the twist throttle and clutch combo before. My quad was practically just gas and go. So yeah, I was nervous, but also excited. I remember throwing a leg over, my heart was pounding, palms sweating inside my gloves. My dad was explaining the clutch, the gears, and of course, I didn't really listen. First thing I did was pin the throttle way too high and dump the clutch. The bike launched forward, the front end shot up, and suddenly I was pulling the biggest unintentional wheelie of my life. I swear, this thing was sitting at like 12 o'clock and my feet were just dragging behind me. Somehow I didn't loop it. Somehow I hung on. But it scared the absolute hell out of me. And just like that, I decided, nope, dirt bikes aren't for me. I'm gonna stick to the quad. After that point on, in my mind, I was never gonna try riding dirt bikes again. As high school rolled around, I started drifting away from riding altogether. Quadding with my dad just wasn't quote unquote cool anymore. So instead, it was all about parties, girlfriends, and trying to fit in. Problem was, I didn't really fit in. I wasn't great at sports, and honestly, I didn't care for them either. I wasn't the popular kid or the smart kid, I was just kind of there. I had that small group of friends you'd spend your time with, and luckily for me, they also had a thrill for speed. One group of friends turned me towards the sport of downhill skateboarding, and I was hooked. Unfortunately, the joy wouldn't last too long. Shortly after starting 10th grade, I was hit and run over by a van on my way to school. And after nearly losing my life to a careless driver, my parents convinced me to give up skateboarding. And honestly, I didn't argue. I think a part of me lost that fearless spark for a while. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. My grades were barely scraping by, but there's this one bright spot. Film class. That's where something clicked. I love picking up a camera, capturing moments, telling stories. We had this one assignment where we had to present what we want to be after graduation. For me, the answer was obvious, videographer. Thankfully, I had another friend group that got heavily into downhill mountain biking, and this kept us safe away from the dangerous drivers. Plus, the freedom out on the trails was even cooler anyways. But even with that passion, I still didn't know what I wanted to film. I tried filming mountain biking, and it was fun, but it had never amounted to anything. Eventually, film class ended, high school ended, and with that, the dreams of being a videographer just kind of slipped away. After graduation, those friend groups started to fade. Most people pick a path, college, trades, whatever, but I didn't. I told myself it wasn't actually possible to become a videographer, so instead, I settled into a job that I couldn't care less about. The hours were all over the place. I was working mornings, nights, weekends. There was no routine, no purpose. It drained me mentally and physically. So I did what I always do. I looked for an escape. To cope, I bought an electric mountain bike. It was fun, it gave me the little escapes, carving through the trails, climbing hills, but as much as I liked it, I didn't love it. It wasn't passion, it was just distraction. Day by day, I felt more and more stuck, like I was in neutral watching life pass by. Then 2020 hit. COVID shut the world down. I got put on temporary leave because of a possible exposure, and at first it was just a couple weeks. Then weeks turned into months. Suddenly, I had something I hadn't had in years. Time. One day, I was out on my mountain bike, just riding aimlessly, and I had this thought. This is it. This is my chance. I always wanted to be a filmmaker, so why not now? Why not pick up a camera again? But then the question hit me. What do I film? I like mountain biking, sure, but filming it, I didn't feel that passion. And then my mind went back. That terrifying day on Scott's TTR 125. The unintentional wheelie that scared me away from dirt bikes forever. And I thought, Aaron, you're not 10 anymore. You love the trails, you love two wheels. Why not give dirt biking another chance? So I did something kind of crazy. I sold my mountain bike, my Escape, and I bought my first dirt bike. Now, looking back, it was nothing special. Little Chinese Apollo 125cc. Yeah, that's right, the $1,000 Amazon special. But to me, in that moment, it was everything. I was so excited. I strapped on a GoPro that I had sitting on my desk for years, hit record, and just went for it. No set plan, no scripts, just riding and filming. I had this idea, like, what if I documented the journey from my very first ride and every ride after that? That just sounded like a lot of fun to videotape, and I thought for sure that's what I'm gonna do. So I uploaded my first YouTube videos, not expecting much, and people watched. Thousands of people watched. Watching me rip around on this tiny bike, commenting, sharing, encouraging me, hearing people tell me how to inspire them or how, because of my video, they bought their son or daughter one of these bikes. That was the cherry on top. And for the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't felt. Purpose. That little dirt bike changed everything. It gave me something to look forward to. It gave me reason to get outside, to push myself, to create again. Suddenly, filming wasn't just a dream from high school anymore. It was real. I was out there making videos every day that I could, telling stories, creating ideas, building something. I went from being afraid of the spotlight to being proud to share my journey. I went from feeling stuck and isolated to feeling free and connected. Every ride, every crash, every laugh with my buddies in the woods, it all added up. Piece by piece, it rebuilt me. It gave me something to strive for, and more importantly, a goal that felt achievable. And maybe the biggest part of it all, the people. Because dirt biking isn't just about the machine, it's about the community, the brotherhood, the unspoken bond of riders. It's waiting at the top of the hill for your buddy to make it up. It's laughing when someone tips over in a mud hole and then helping them drag their bike out of it. It's the trailside banter, the gas station stories, the late night sunsets. Before dirt biking, I felt alone, like nobody really understood me. But once I got on two wheels, I realized I wasn't alone at all. There's a whole community out there that lives for the same thing. And in that, I found belonging. I found family. Some of my best friends are now ones I've met through riding, and I hang out with these guys more than anyone else in my life. We all push each other to be better riders and better friends. Dirt biking saved my life. It gave me creativity, it gave me purpose, and it gave me joy. But most importantly, it gave me people. And that combination, the ride, the freedom, the friendships, that stuff built me back up from the ground up. So yeah, dirt bike saved my life. And every time I twist the throttle, I'm reminded of just how far I've come. And for that, I'll always be grateful. If you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to go down below, click that like button, click subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.